So I'm going to call our meeting to order. Chair's comments, certainly thank you to everybody about the elections that we just went through and for everybody sitting on those committees. Thank you for that. I need to inform everyone that, inform the public that this meeting is being videotaped and live streamed as a matter of public record. Trustees, please be reminded to use your microphone whenever you want to speak in order your comments or questions that are recorded. During the time for questions from the public section, we would ask any interested participants to come forward to the podium, state their name, where they're from, and make their comments or ask their questions using the microphone. Thanks in advance for everyone being diligent with the use of microphones. So we now have O Canada by Hazel Ridge School. Please stand. After I do that, I feel like we should be clapping all the time, but thanks to Hazel Ridge School for going ahead and doing that. We have a treaty acknowledgement, and Trustee Harris is going to go ahead and read out our treaty acknowledgement.
We acknowledge the traditional land on which Sunrise School Division resides as Treaty 1 territory. We honor our partnership with Canada's original peoples and respect the gifts of Indigenous history, culture, and language. We commit to moving forward in partnership with our communities in a spirit of collaboration and reconciliation.
Thank you, Trustee Harris. We now have the adoption of our agenda. And I'm reminded that if any trustees looking for agenda to put in agenda items, please send them to all five of us. And I think the five of us are Scott, Kathy, myself, Diane, and Stacy. Please get them in. And what I think is a real good idea is that I would like to, as people send stuff out, I would like to share with the entire board, here's what people have got on, if it got on the agenda or didn't get on the agenda, but I would like to go ahead and share that. Just so that everybody has that information. If stuff didn't get on, at least you know that people wanted to put it on, it didn't get on, but you have all that information. And are we okay with me going ahead and doing that? Just round table, nod in your heads, and if you're not, okay, thank you. So I need a bid. Yes, sir.
Can we still use the SPA? That will be changed so that we just can hit the agenda set. So April. What is it?
Oh, you're talking about the distribution group for
yeah,
our trustees?
instead of writing 5 people, we can just hit the A.
Oh, the agenda setting committee.
Yeah.
I never knew that there was one, so now I know. So
Yeah.
thank you. Okay. But certainly about me getting back to everybody, we'll go ahead and do that. Thanks, Don. So for our agenda, can we have a mover for our agenda? So be resolved. So Trustee Pachakowski, looking for a seconder. Trustee Reed, thank you. No questions to it. I guess we'll vote. Sorry.
Just from looking, I've seen the agenda, but I also noticed that there's 2 things that we're missing, and maybe they are someplace that I don't know where they are. And if they are found or have been in a previous agenda, then maybe someone could let me know. But there's 2 items that would have come forward within the last while, and one of them would be the auditor's letter, usually comes in August to the board. And the other one is the compensation disclosure is usually motioned as received as information by the board, and that usually comes in May or June. And maybe someone could just give me advice on where they are, if they've come in.
Thanks, Dan. Scott, table yours?
I do know, Trustee Duma, the compensation disclosure did come. I'll have to double check what date that meeting was, so I can refer you back to it. The audit letter, I'll double check with Susan. We should have a copy of that. That has not come to the board yet, I don't believe.
So can we make note then that, Diane, is it okay if we make note that we bring make sure we get the auditors at our next agenda, that we have that auditor's letter and share that with people? Yep.
Well, we bring the auditor's letter to the board. That usually comes to us because it is supposed to be addressed to the board. And the compensation disclosure is usually received as information as a motion to the board because it's for public information.
Okay. Thanks, Diane. We'll look to do that. So any other questions on the agenda? So Stacy will now vote on the agenda, please. We did. Take your time. Yeah. Are we good with that? Just a hand vote with Diane? Okay. Okay. Are we good with that? All right. Thanks, Stace. We're good. So let's keep moving on. Yes, sir. Because, oh, good point. How do we know it's passed? How do we know it's passed? That we all... Oh, so I'm going to go back to a hand vote with everybody? All right. So can we do all hand vote past the agenda? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thanks, Don. Okay. So chair's comments, none at this time. We'll see where things go, but thank you for putting your trust in me as we move forward. Share a story. This is an opportunity for trustees to share something positive that's happening at their schools or in the division. So I'll give you an opportunity to go ahead and share. You can go round table or put your hands up as to where we are. Anybody share a story? Trustee Jarrett?
Thank you, Chair. It's not really sharing a story. I've noticed that social media is a great thing sometimes, and I've noticed a lot of teachers posting pictures of getting their classrooms ready and all the hard work they do before school starts. And I just want to recognize all of our teachers throughout the division and administrators and our senior admin for all the work that leads up to the start of school, because it just doesn't start for them on September 3rd. Thank you.
Thanks. Others? Trustee Harris?
Our O Canada tonight was Hazel Ridge School, which is in my ward. I'm not sure how the kids got to school today to record that, but I'm thankful that they did that probably at the end of June last year.
Thanks. Anyone else? Dan?
I just wanted to acknowledge that there was an activity this summer at the Springfield Middle School. It was the Manitoba Band Association Summer Band Camp. They had, I believe it was almost 50 children participate in that. It was August the 12th to the 16th. Great attendance and great responses from parents and students that I heard. Excited about coming every day for 8:30 in the morning and playing music all day long till 3:30 with a big concert on Friday night. So kudos to all the hard work that went into it and the commitment from everybody that was involved in it.
Thank you. Others? Others? Going once? Going twice? Okay, thanks for that. So now we're to adopt the minutes of the August 27th meeting. So I need it be resolved. I need a mover and a seconder. Mover and a seconder. Mover Pachakowski, seconder Roland. Questions on that? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and vote. Okay, thank you. Now, will that show up then? Will people see that, that vote electronically? They would see that vote electronically as to what it is? Or do we have to tell them what the vote was?
On the streaming only, if they could see the screens,
Oh.
it won't show up electronically on YouTube.
It won't show up?
No.
So what kind of a practice should we have then, as we're doing this live? Should we turn around and say that it was unanimous, that it was 8-1? How would we go ahead and do that? I'm just asking for input. Don?
Well, I think you should just say it's passed 8-1 or 8-0, one abstained, or whatever the case might be.
Okay, are we good with that? That's what Robert's rules is, so that we would say it out loud to people? Okay, so it passed and it passed at,
It was on the screen behind you briefly, and I assume that's on our video. They probably might not be able to read that, the detail, but for a moment I noticed it there.
so we're going to learn some things as we're going ahead and doing this live, but it's a good point, Diane, that I should be turning around saying it was passed and Dawn and what it was. So it was passed, and I think it was an 8 and one abstention. Okay, thanks for doing that. So we've got the minutes, we've got the superintendent's report. Kath?
So one of the things that we asked is to have our assistant superintendents do presentations. So you have my report in writing. It is very similar to the August 27th report, except for the beginning, and that Assistant Superintendent Peters is up today, and we'll talk to you a little bit about what she's got on the go.
Floor is yours, Elan.
Pardon?
Floor is yours.
Thank you, sir. My report is attached to your agenda. I think I'll start and work backwards to the piece that isn't attached, and it's a follow-up from our last meeting. We had a really good question about multi-level education in schools. I wanted to point you to a website that has an FAQ about multi-level, and there's additional research and additional information there if you're ever asked about that. But certainly you can always direct people back to the schools, but if you're looking to educate yourselves on that, that would be one place I would recommend. Then if I'm continuing to go backwards, we had our new teacher orientation, I think just prior to our last meeting, and we did some work around doing some formalizing around some of the mentorship that we do in schools, and so we're pleased that that is starting. Backing up, the program leaders are hard at it, and I've been working with them, and we'll meet with them on a very regular basis about the work that they do in schools. And their task is to identify a problem of practice that we can work at collectively, to look at the practices that are going on in the schools that they see and what their impact is on that practice in schools. So we really want to look at, are we having the impact that we're having? So hopefully in coming reports I'll have more information to share. That's just at the beginning stages. And then going backwards, doing some ongoing work around learning sprints in our schools, and was happy to spend part of my day today in Centennial School doing some PD, and it was delightful to have teachers and educational assistants together in the room for a half day of learning so that they can kick their school year off as learners themselves, and they were pretty enthusiastic about what they were learning and how they were going to get going and implement that. And then I've included just some recent professional reading for your information. That's all I know.
Thanks, Leanne. Any questions for Leanne or comments? Don?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure whether I heard it right. That's why I'm asking again. You said something about multi-level learning, and did you say a website that you had here?
I did say a website. It's not listed on the report. It is on the screen behind you. It's on the Manitoba Education website. If you were to Google Manitoba Education multi-level, you would.
Okay.
Any other questions for Leanne? Thank you, Leanne. Now I have a question, though.
Okay.
So one of the things that you've got down in here is about the program leaders. And so we've been talking around the table, and you've heard talking around the table is where, you know, what the program leaders are doing some great things, but how do we know they're doing some great things? So that's what I think that we're looking for from you, is that if you're setting some goals with the program leaders, we'd love to hear from you about what those goals are, and then what are those indicators or their targets that they're looking to get, so that you can figure out all the stuff that they're doing, is it working? Fair, and that's what we've been talking about, and as to what it is, so we're looking for that. So I think that when you come back again to us, because you're not going too far away, because when you come back again to us, is that, could you share that information with you? What are some of the things that you set with the program leaders as to what they're looking at doing and how they're looking about measuring their effectiveness, success, however you want to, whatever indicators you're going to put.
Yep, measuring impact. And so as a starting point, one of the things that I'm moving them toward is asking them for class profile data before they go into a classroom. And that is a shift in practice for our teachers. But I'll pick on Alan, our numeracy coach, numeracy program leader. He goes in, he's got all kinds of awesome strategies for problem solving, and he does a bunch of work with teachers around problem solving. But that might not be the thing that the children or the teacher need. It just might be a good thing to do. So we're starting with what is the evidence prior to going into the classrooms, doing some stuff in classrooms, and then looking at what the impact is. So hopefully that will translate into something. And that aligns with the learning sprints work as well. It's the same action research model.
I think even Kathy talked last time that we got together, you're going to triangulate. And what I mean by triangulate, you're going to get a number of different data sources to come back to us, because it's just not one thing that kids are taking a standardized test and here they go. But there's a number of things that you're going to try to collect information on to come back to us and say, hey, here's what the math consultant is doing, and here's now what we're seeing with regard to math, the improvement with students, engagement, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else for Leanne? Thank you for Leanne. Now my question also for the board is, when Leanne has this, is this report available to the public? So would this report then, is it tonight, or somebody that's online, would they see it? Yep.
I think what our practice has been is with the highlighter, our reports then go out with the highlighter the next day. So Stacey's been pretty good at saying, here's the highlighter, and it has all of that written in the highlighter when it goes out. Is that fair?
I guess if we're going to have public, and so now we're talking about some stuff that we're reading, for instance, Mark over there, he's not seeing anything that we're seeing. When would that information be shared? Is it shared immediately tonight? Is it shared the next? So it's right now you're talking about being shared the next day. We have people in the public. What would we like to do as a board or comment? Dawn?
If the public comes here, I'd like them to have a copy of it. That's what I would like, to have a copy so they can, when they pick up the package, when they pick up the agenda package, along with that, it's all these reports that are.
So Dawn's suggesting that as people come in, it's made available, so they can have it, whether it's made available online
If I could just ask when the committees meet, that we have some overlap in our committees and we'll have to have some discussion so that we play nicely with one another's committees and not have everything all in one night, or that we're staggering some of our meetings, just as a reminder. And the policy committee has work to do in September, so I want to pick first.
Thanks. We'll keep moving on. Professional development, information and reports. There are none. Financial monitoring reports. Scott, do you want to tell us where we are with that?
There will be none until we have our next finance meeting.
Board correspondence was sent out, so you have that information. Nice to know. That information is all in there, but I'm pretty excited that to see the football team out at Oakbank, out at the Springfield Collegiate. Certainly about them getting a chance. Anyways, there's information with all the stuff that's there. I don't know if we need to go over any of that. Football home opener is September the 13th. So hopefully that many people can get there. There's some other nice information to know that's on there. Public can see it, and you've got the information. Press release, I don't think that we have. Questions from the public? Any questions from the public? Okay, thank you. Anybody? If I'm going too fast, let me know. Do we need to go in camera tonight? No? So we don't have to, so be it resolved, nothing. So is this adjournment? Motions for adjournment. You're motioning for adjournment?
I'll make
Oh,
a
you have
motion to adjourn the meeting, yes.
Cool. All right. So I guess we're good, right? So that is history, right? 32 seconds. So motion to adjourn. Thank you. Thank you to the public that have come out, and thank you to the people that are online. We welcome your feedback online to let us know how we've done, how you're hearing us, those kind of things. Certainly get back to the group, but we're going to try to continue to do this to make it as informative as possible. So we'll wait here back from the policy committee, Karen, that you're bringing back in the next day or so. So thanks very much. Thanks, Karen.